Hello, this is Purge bringing you a first-person replay commentary. It's going to be a Slardar game, and I played this last night, and I had a very fun time. So I thought I would share this with you, because I'm sure you guys will like it. I haven't made a Slardar video since April, according to my awesome database, that again, I can't remember the guy's name who made it, but I appreciate you making it. Yes. I was playing with Aosin, with Ken from Smash, and praise BDE Sama is Heyoka from Team Liquid. So we had a random. Savior was a random. Didn't know who that guy was. But we played a bunch of games last night. I had a really good night of Dota. I played like, I don't know, 4 games where I really felt on. Felt really good. I really felt strong this game. I was pretty happy with it. So I felt very on, basically saying that I felt like I was playing at full capacity, more or less, and I didn't make too many mistakes, and I was like always in a good mindset. I don't know if it was just diet or what, but I had a pretty productive day yesterday. I got a bunch of little things done. I went outside for once. I went to the grocery store. Or I went to Target at least, and I bought some stuff. Alright, I need let's go on a rant for a second. So I have a mechanical toothbrush, which is like one of those battery-powered ones. They're really good because they clean your teeth better. As soon as I got one, I saw like marked improvements at my dentist appointments. They were like, oh wow, your teeth are looking really good. So like, you should buy one. But like, I went to Target yesterday because I was trying to get like replacement heads, because you have to swap the heads out once in a while because it's like a regular toothbrush. But you don't want to throw away the battery part, obviously, because there's no point throwing that away because that part's still good. The toothbrush itself costs $40, which is fine. That's for like a fairly cheap one, which is probably good enough. You don't really need to buy a fancy one, I would guess. So the toothbrush costs $40, and the booster packs
30 seconds to battle.
For a pack of 4 cost $30. And I am so mad about it, because I completely know what they're doing. They're saying, okay, well, we'll sell you the toothbrush for $40 that you buy because it looks all cheap, and then you have to buy the booster heads, which cost $10 a piece. You're like literally buying a $10 toothbrush every time you use it for like 3 months, and I'm so mad that it costs $30. I was like so mad that I was considering going online and purchasing them online for something cheaper, which I'm sure exists. But I was already at Target. I was like, God, I'm already here. And then when I checked out, the lady was like, okay, your total comes to $50, and I was like, what? $50? Because I bought like a couple other food things, and then I realized that I bought super overpriced toothbrushes. My God, those bastards. Those freaking bastards. I was so pissed. I guess they're less than $10. It's like $8 for 4 or something. $8.16. It's like $7.50. Yeah, $7.50. But holy crap. I was mad. Anyways, let's talk about Slardar. His pearly whites look great. He doesn't need a toothbrush. Anyways, Slardar as a hero is really cool because he has stuns. He's a hero that has a lot of mobility and a lot of stun power, and any hero that has stuns can usually make things happen, or they can control how the game goes, basically. And by that I mean, you should be able to snowball. You should be able to. There I used my stun to get 2 CS, because if I didn't, I would have only gotten 1 CS instead of 2, so I decided to stun for it. Slithering Crush has been buffed recently. It has a larger AoE. It costs very low mana, and it does physical base damage, which is a little uncommon. So this means that it doesn't stun through BKB, but it does damage through BKB, and if somebody's repelled, etc. The downside is that it should be blocked by damage block, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong about that. But it's reduced by armor. But that means it's also boosted by armor. So a hero like Dazzle, for example, gets extra bonus by getting a medallion, or an AC, or a desolator, and Slardar works the same way, except luckily for him, he doesn't have to buy any items to get that bonus damage. He can get it from his ulti, which is called Amplify Damage. It reduces armor by 10, 15, 20, depending on the level, and that should increase the damage that you do to your opponents. So whenever you initiate, you generally are going to stun, and then you're going to amp damage immediately afterwards, or sometimes you'll be able to amp damage first, and then stun. So his second best skill, out of all of them, is actually his first skill. Slithering Crush is absolutely amazing, though, I must say. It's a 8-second cooldown, big AoE stun, 2.5 second stun duration, which is huge, and it's very easy to cast. In comparison, I'll talk about... Sorry, I'm like jumping all over the place, but in comparison to other stuns, like a Lion stun, for example, is in a line, and you're going to get at least 1, maybe 2 heroes. Slithering Crush, especially if you get a Blink Dagger, is pretty much reliable to get 2 to 3 heroes, and it can easily swing fights if they group up a little bit too much, because you can just kind of end up chain stunning constantly. Especially when you have a Tide on your team as well, you should have a ton of stuns to work with. So, anyways, I'm definitely outlasting the Clockwork. Let's change topics again. Let's talk about my starting item build a bit. I ended up randoming which allowed me to be greedy this way, but I think it's a really safe way to play. I actually really like going for this kind of a starting item build because you never really know what your opponent's lanes are going to be. So I honestly really like grabbing 2 sets of tangos and a salve, personally. I think this is one of the best starting item builds you can get for a safe carry farmer if you're playing a pub. Because even if you end up not needing the regen at all you wasted was like 125 gold. And the games where you do actually need the regen, it gives you a huge advantage because all of a sudden you have all this extra regen going on in your lane. So I really recommend going for a double tango salve if you random and you're playing a safe farmer. Go a stout shield, get a double tango salve, and at the very least they won't be able to harass you as much as they would normally. So, alright, let's get back to sprint now that we've sidetracked for like 3 minutes, but I think sprint is his best ability, or second best ability, excluding his ulti. He has a bash, a passive bash, and most players that I play with really like maxing bash out second, but I think this is completely the wrong thing to do. That's because sprint is generally just kind of amazing, I think. It does increase the damage you take, so it's similar to Mask of Madness in that sense. But it's been buffed recently to cost 0 mana. That's right, cost absolutely no mana. The duration is 20 seconds and the cooldown is 28. So that means 20 out of the 28 seconds you can be going somewhere that you want to be going to at a very fast pace, a very fast rate. Big mistake for me to eat the double cog, but it's not too horrible because again, sprint costs no mana. That means if I want to do any combo stuff, I just have to do stun and maybe my ulti, and that's it. So the advantage that he got from not having mana, not needing mana for sprint, is actually pretty big, because usually you use sprint in a team fight. It used to cost 50 mana, now it costs 0, which basically means that Slardar doesn't have any mana problems like he used to. His int gain was really low, and in the past you would have to buy things like wand, maybe a drum pickup. You might want to tread switch a lot when you're playing Slardar, but you don't really need to worry about it as much anymore. And it really does make a big difference in the hero, because now, rather than kind of having to get an item like drum, you could just skip it. You can get a wand and you're going to be absolutely fine in terms of mana. So this little buff that he got makes him a little bit more item independent and allows him to use his gold for important things like Blink Dagger or BKB. So I think the last time I made a Slardar video, I actually went for an armlet build, but since I made that video, armlet has been nerfed, and by that I mean when you toggle armlet, it doesn't instantly give you the strength, so it's a little harder to stay alive at low amounts of HP. So instead, I think the absolute must-go build now is going to be a Blink build. And the reason Blink is so useful is because it allows you to initiate right where you want to and immediately when you want to. Slithing Crush now doing... It's actually a pretty low damage nuke, by the way. 200 physical is not very much at all, but that's kind of the offset for it being such a good stun, so it makes sense. What was I talking about? Armlet. Okay, Armlet I think is not very good anymore, so I say it's okay. You can get it if you want to go for a DPS build. I baited him out the battery cell here. I actually didn't have any intentions of diving him here, but I thought that I would at least pressure him, and I like doing that once in a while when I lane. You guys will notice it probably a lot in my play. Even if I don't feel like I know that I can go in, I'll just face check them a little bit. And this does two things. First of all, it intimidates them, which is important to do because it makes them a little uneasy. They might think, oh god, am I getting ganked? Am I getting ganked? And number two, it also, what's the word? Exerts my dominance over them. So it lets me know how good they are. Because, for example, the Clockwork got scared right there. He's versus a Slardar and a Tide, who are both melee heroes. And unless some mid-hero ends up showing up in the lane, there's very low chance of him dying. So, for example, if I was playing the Clockwork in that situation, I would have been like, okay, I just maybe would have cogged in the Slardar and used Battery Assault. Or maybe I would have been aggressive. And yeah, of course, sometimes this gets me killed, but it does give me a lot of lane dominance here. Now, I could have gone for that harder if I really wanted to, but I decided against it. I just kind of wanted to harass him a bit. And the benefits that I got out of it, I reduced his armor by 10 first, because I knew I was likely to be within range, and then I stunned immediately afterwards. I did have vision of him there. It doesn't show again. When you use amp damage or track, it doesn't show heroes, but I did amp him first. Amp damage acts similar to track. It gives vision, but it reduces armor instead of giving like track gold and all that other stuff. So it's actually a lot stronger than track in terms of solo killing power. It's actually a very, very strong skill. Really useful and counters a ton of different heroes. Like a lot of tanky heroes like Alchemist and Clockwork are just hard countered by Slardar because of the fact that amp damage just makes them absolutely shred. So trading very mana efficiently against the Clockwork is really important. And again, the thing that I said about lane dominance. I just know that I'm likely to bully him based on his reactions. He didn't stay in lane very long in the early game, things like that. So I have lots of little tells that allow me to play based on how I feel he's going to play. It's like I'm basically feeling out my opponents so that I can read them. And I felt so on this game. I felt really, really good. And that was maybe one of the reasons. So first major purchase, as Slardar should always be treads in my opinion. I've seen some players go blink before treads, but I don't think this is the right build. The reason for that being that you really want attack speed, because you're always trying to kill a hero in single target damage. You're basically killing due to right click, so you need attack speed. So the extra strength gives you more HP because you're going to be diving. It gives you more damage because you have more strength. And it gives you more attack speed, which means more hits in a short period of time, which you definitely need. Because when you stun, you only have 2.5 seconds before they start running away. I mean, you can obviously chase very easily with sprint and things like that, but it really does help out a lot to have the extra attack speed. And most importantly, you can tread switch. So even if you're worried about the low mana pool, which sometimes is the case, you can just tread switch to int before I do everything, every cast and every disable, and then I can switch back to strength and go for a kill. I don't know if I did it there against the clockwork, but I know there's many times during this game where I will tread switch, and that's another thing that you can tell, or at least helps you tell how good a player is, because you can see them tread switch it. The mana will end up adding up a lot over the course of the game, especially if you go a very, very mana inefficient, or a mana, what's the word? A mana irrelevant build? That's not the word I wanted. I wanted a word for ignoring mana. I'm missing a lot of last hits here. I still have a lot of trouble last hitting under tower. So I should work on that. I thought maybe if I used sprint there I'd be able to get it, but didn't get it. And no loss, honestly. By using sprint like that, I lose no mana. Just gives me some movement speed. This, I think, is honestly the best skill build. I very, very much believe so. The extra movement speed per level is very low, but it makes a big difference. If you just leave it sprint at level 1, it's only 20%, which is really not that useful. I tread switch there for the stun, for example, so I wanted all 3 CS. But getting lots of levels of sprint is really important because it does scale up your total movement speed. So this is basically your early core. Treads, you got a wand, and you have a stout shield. And I still have some regen left over, which is also very useful and will come into use later. But I really like maxing out the sprint. The reason I don't like getting any bash levels is, number 1, it makes your last hitting unreliable. That's one important thing. So there's a chance that while you're just auto-attacking creeps, you'll accidentally bash, and you'll do too much damage, and you'll miss the last hit afterwards. So that's one reason. Not that I last hit that amazingly anyways, but I think it helps. Number 2, it's an extremely low chance, and everybody attacks very, very slow in the early game, so your chances of actually getting a bash off against a hero, like for example, I've right-clicked Clockwork a total of maybe 5 times this entire game so far, and it's 10 minutes in. Do I really need those bash levels? Probably not, honestly. Much more likely to be useful is my movement speed, because my movement speed allows me to get into position, which allows me to stun, which is much more likely to get a kill than a bash. And even on the other side of the coin, if somebody's ganking me, extra movement speed, if I use it at the right time, could be enough for me surviving. So bashes at early levels of the game, I think, are not very useful. The only heroes that I do like getting bashes on early, or the chance to bash or whatever, is on Faceless Void. And that's because when he hits 6, he can do double bash damage with Chronosphere. So I think getting that bash percentage up is really important on that hero. But on Slardar, not so much. You should really be focusing on maxing your stun and getting your sprint up, and from there you can try to farm and get your Blink Dagger. So my CS is a little low this game. I missed a lot under tower, so it's understandable. I guess that's why my number is a bit low, but it's going to be okay. I'm going to have a Prophet show up early. There's no point not to put amp damage on him because there's a chance that I will end up be fighting him soon. So might as well do it earlier. That way you don't have to spend the animation later. Got a last hit here, and he stood a little too close to me. Alright, and I get a really, really easy kill on the Nature's Prophet. And he really wasn't expecting that at all, but really easy kill for me. Again, I have max stun, I had amp damage, so his armor was already reduced by 10, and at that point I was hitting for 100 apiece. I just got my Blink Dagger, by the way, so I really wanted to make something happen mid. I was thinking about going in, but this rocket ended up stopping my blink, so it's a pretty big mistake. Not like an extremely big mistake, but it was a mistake for me. Was that as soon as you get your Blink Dagger, you definitely want to make a gank happen on another lane. You don't really need to. It's not like there's no point to get a blink and then sit in your lane and continuously farm, for example. So I TP'd to the mid lane. I wanted to go. What I should have done is waited till nighttime. If I would have waited, like, I didn't look at the clock, for example. If I would have waited 15 seconds until nighttime, I could have TP'd to the lane And then I could have ganked with nighttime and then blinked on top of them and stunned. On the bright side, I can swing back to the bot lane. Again, I'm using sprint to get from lane to lane a little bit more quickly. And I knew that as long as the Prophet showed again, there was a good chance I was going to be able to get a kill. So I amped damage first so that I could have vision of him. And now it's just a simple right click. He could have tried to TP starting there, and he probably should have actually, but he didn't. As soon as the stun ended, he should have started teleporting, and the guy didn't. So I actually got a free kill out of that, and I shouldn't have that. I shouldn't have had that kill in my opinion. I actually did that wrong. My mistake was that I didn't blink right on top of him. If I would have blinked right on top of him instead, then I would have been hitting him during the entire stun duration. And I also shouldn't have blink stunned, or I shouldn't have blink stunned before knowing for sure that I wasn't sprouted. Because once he sprouted himself, it actually put me in a bad spot, because again, I was wasting that stun duration. So normally what you want to do is if I blink in and he sprouts himself, I would save the stun for at least a second, probably 2 seconds, because he's likely to be teleporting out, and I want to wait the maximum amount of time. I want to make sure that he wastes the sprint duration. I did a really short range blink there because I was worried about getting hookshotted. And since he was under tower, I was just going to amp damage him to increase the damage he takes. And I have to be a little careful. I actually did get mana from the Caudal here, which helps a lot, but I was trying to amp damage again. So yeah, if the Prophet sprouts himself and I haven't stunned it, you should wait at least a second and a half, and then you stun, because that'll stop his TP, and then his sprout will end shortly after that. My HP was really low, so I decided to use Blink to dodge the rocket. It's like some action is happening over here. I really don't want to fight right now because my HP is pretty low. So I decided at this point that I wasn't really helping myself very much, so I needed to go back to base. And again, here's the 4 levels of sprint being really useful. My movement speed isn't quite capped out, so this is being useful. And then as soon as I get healed, I can go back to lane and possibly start a fight or try to get a kill. So. And now as I level up, I'll grab some bash levels. Bash is useful, but it's just not completely the wombo that you need. Tide's got a TP bot, and he's got a Ravage, so I'm going to be ready to fight from this. I was kind of hoping the Tide would go onto this at the same time as me, but he did not. Very important that I dodged the meteor there.
Perishes fooled you good.
I might have gotten that kill if I tread switched. I kind of just guessed where he was because I figured he'd be retreating, and I kind of tried to make a play. Didn't work out, but that's fine. But if I would have tread switched before I blinked and stunned, I definitely would have had enough for my ulti. And then I might have been able to kill him, because I would have reduced his armor by 15, and then I would have right-clicked him maybe 2 or 3 times, and I think he would have died, honestly. It would have been very close. I could have possibly made that play, so mistake by me for not tread-switching there. So I decided to go back to base again. Again, tread-switching if I need mana. Overall, it went pretty good, though. We lost the Ravage, but we killed the Invoker, which isn't too bad. And Clockwork's having a nice game, despite having a rough time in the offlane. He did okay there. He didn't get a ton of farm, so I don't feel too bad. Just keep my TPs back up a bit, and I'll buy an Ogre Club, because I do want to get a BKB this game. This is a game where you kind of have to get BKB. Look at the heroes they have. They have Invoker, who has Cold Snap and Forged Spirits, so like you saw it in the last fight. If I get Cold Snap, I'm going to take a ton of damage. I was trying to check to see if he warded there, but I was having trouble clicking on him. He kept like being on the edge. So I figured there was a ward there, but I wasn't completely sure. It's going to TP to lane here, because I figured if the Prophet's here.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Wanted to see if he would come back up. It's very important that I didn't show there. And there's the Prophet. His HP is also really low, so... So, simple 3-hit. I slightly misclicked. I had a little hesitation on one of my right clicks, and that's important because when the kills are really close, that could be the difference between me getting a kill or not. So I didn't do that perfectly, but it went pretty well. I think the blink stun right on top of him was fine, and then from there you have to make sure that you stay really, really close to him. Its attack movement is very important against a Prophet because you always want to be right next to him. His only way to escape is basically to sprout himself and teleport out. So if you stand right next to him, it guarantees you that you can continue attacking. So really important. But getting a 4th kill is a huge advantage for me now. Now that I have 4 kills and this many CS, it should put my GPM pretty high. My net worth is second highest. This is higher than the save for me in PA. I don't know exactly what she has, but looks like she is going for a Treads Battle Fury. So, game's going really well. Aosin's playing our mid Warlock, by the way, which is why he has so much last hits. I think he also got a Midas, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he does have a Midas. He went Midas and Boots of Travel, actually. So, it's pretty funny. But now that I've gotten a bunch of kills, I can be a bit more patient with my movement. I should have TP'd top, by the way. I wasn't watching the map. I was just focusing on last hitting, but I definitely should have TP'd top. Especially looking at that there, I was like, oh, they're all kind of low. If I would have TP'd for that, I might have been able to get a kill or two.
Met you once, cut you twice.
But yeah, I'm going to make a BKB because they have Forged Spirits with Cold Snap. They have a line who has tons of disables. If Clockwork ever hookshots me, I would die without a BKB. PA is not as big of an issue. If all those stunners weren't in the game, excuse me, I would have gotten very likely an MKB first for damage, because I do need to carry this game. My team doesn't have that much carry. Well, we do have a Slark, but Slark is having a really bad game, so... where is it? Slark is level 9. He has died 4 times, 1 kill and 1 assist. So he's basically not going to be reliable for carrying the game, so I have to try to out-carry. But I have to get a BKB first. There's no question about it. If I don't get a BKB, then I'm just going to die in team fights. And basically, the way that you have to carry with Slardar is by snowballing. It's like the only way. You can't just safe farm Slardar and be like, oh, I'll just get a... I mean, you could, I guess. You could get a Midas and have a nice time, but... I was luckily able to 3-shot him. Ended up dying there, but it went pretty good. The hookshot with the battery cell really dropped me a lot lower than I anticipated. I maybe should have tread switched. I possibly could have won, but it was a pretty good trade for me. We lost the Slark, but we killed 4, so even with me dying there and I gave a killing spree kill to, or mega kill, I gave Invoker 700 gold. So I gave him a lot of gold, but that also gave Tidehunter 400, so not horrible. It was actually a pretty good fight. It was a good fight for us, definitely. I've also hit level 14 now from all the kills and the experience and stuff, so I've got 4 levels of bash now. 25% chance to do 70 physical damage. The reason it's physical, most bashes are magical, but this one is physical because it was a buff to Slardar to make amplify damage more useful, which makes a lot of sense. It also, very cool, makes bash go through BKB. So most bashes, normally you can just pop a BKB and then you take less damage, but if bash that's physical, that means it'll go straight through it. Amp damage is another one of those abilities that's actually useful because it goes through magic immunity. So as a whole, Slardar's really darn good against magic immunity units. You won't be able to stun them with Slither and Crush, but it will do the physical damage. And you can also just bash and right-click through it, because you can always cast amp damage. That guy looked really dead, so I was like, okay, well, he's dead. Wasn't going to bother going there that hard, but with that many heroes over there on the map, we might want to try to make a play somewhere else. I am still kind of thinking about killing, more so than farming. We did already get the tier 1 bot, so me farming down there won't accomplish that much, other than some passive farm. So. My stun wasn't quite ideal there. And then I did something really dumb, and I YOLO'd in. That was really dumb. That was like really, really bad. The reason it was so garbage is because our Warlock was already dead. Our Tide died as I initiated, so we were already 3v2, and there's like a bunch of stunner heroes. I just bought back for this, by the way.
Middle tower has fallen.
This is a case where for sprint right here. Obviously, I'm already really highly leveled, but the extra sprint movement speed really does make a big difference.
Look away.
So it actually went okay. I almost never buyback, but that buyback was completely worth it. I got 2 kills out of it, so I still got gold, despite dying. When you buyback, you can't get unreliable gold. Unreliable gold is things like creeps, I think towers count as reliable gold now, but things like creeps and neutral creeps and stuff like that, that's all unreliable. So you don't get gold from that when you buy back, but if you get hero kills and you're around kills for heroes, then you do get the gold. So I probably ended up losing a few hundred gold tops from that because I got 2 kills. It would have been nice to get all 3, but I didn't, unfortunately. Maybe this is why I had no mana problems this game. I completely ignored the fact that I had a Caudle. I was thinking about it later. I was like, you know what? I had like no mana problems that game. That was pretty fun. But then I had a Caudle, so...
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Clockwork TPing is a little scary. Again, if he catches me, I'm very likely going to die. So this might be a good time for me just to go back to base and heal. So, or I'll just run across the whole map. So, I mean, you honestly have a free haste. Every 28 seconds, you have a free haste. It's so good. It's honestly a really good skill. I dare say. Think how useful that would be on almost any other hero. If that was one of your skills, free haste. I mean, you take more damage, but it's a free haste. I knew the rocket was coming to me because I heard the sound and I saw him in the river. So I decided to spend some mana in exchange for avoiding the damage because my HP was more critical at that point than my mana was. I was also worried about getting ganked by the clock, but at this point I see that they're all in the river, so... Oh yeah, I was asking him to salve me, that's why I was standing there for so long. So this prevents me from having to go back to base, and this is one of the downsides to the item build that I went for, is that I don't have any HP regen. And it's honestly one of the main things that you should be a little concerned about if you are playing a carry hero, or a hero that needs farm to win usually, because you do have to continue farming. If you're not on the map, you're not farming, and you're not progressing your item build, especially after fights happen and you're at half HP or 3/4 HP. If a fight starts, you need to be there most likely, and you might not be there because your HP isn't full. Because you can't fight those fights basically if your HP is missing a lot, so... Very important that you have some kind of HP regen item, or some way to get in and out of bases really fast, so that you can heal and get back to the action a little bit more quick. So they're pushing now. There's a good chance that we're going to have to fight soon. Again, I still have a TP scroll in case that does happen. We can also look at the gold graph and stuff like that. Looks like they have a very slight advantage, but we did have quite a bit before... This is right before all the huge swings fight. They killed Warlock, and then I threw my life away, and PA killed someone, they got a tower, but then I got a double kill at least, so this little jump up was from the double. Let's look at EXP as well. That's about equal. Alright, I think I saw them coming to gank me here, especially with the rocket. This is expected. So I got one last hit here, and then I was worried about dying, so I decided to blink into a random location, and then TP home. And they were actually ganking me. I felt it. I probably should have grabbed my Mithril Hammer a bit earlier. I just grabbed it now, but I did have it purchased. Swapping it out for a Stout Shield is probably fine at this point, because 24 damage is really, it's not bad.
Radiant's bottom tower
it's a smoke from Caudle, so that means that we should probably try to make a kill happen. I was really hoping that he wouldn't get scared, but it's worth going on this. They're likely to TP, but if we can kill him really quickly, it'll be useful. I had a couple misses here. It was a great Ravage. Again, tread switching.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And it's really important that you honestly just stay around and try to help as long as possible. I was pretty worried about a Nature's Prophet at this point.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
So I decided to do a random TP out.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
He's still pushing our bot tower. But yeah, even if you're really low, you always have to sit around and look to see if you have the option to do something else. Because if I went to Blink Stun there, there's a chance that I wouldn't have, that the Invoker just simply wouldn't have died. I'm sprinting to the bot lane now. I'm just going to blink to get a little bit closer. Because I figure there's a chance that he'll escape by then. Like, the tower's almost dead, so. And there we go, we're going to do a little kill. I don't know if he had a Lothars or anything. He had nothing. He literally just had an Orchid. What he should have done, I guess he didn't see me coming, but if he knew that I was coming, he should have Orchided me and then TP'd, and then he would have made it. But the Prophet's decision making is not very good, as you guys can tell. The MMR bracket that we were playing at here is a bit lower because of Ken and Heyoka. Anyways, I got my BKB finished. I have a Blink Dagger. So despite not having any major right-click items, I still have major carry potential because of this, because I can, now at least, I can initiate into the middle of the enemies, and I don't have to worry about getting stunned anymore. So this means that I'm basically going to jump into a fight, and I'm going to pick one guy, and I'm going to try to kill him immediately. Because if I can kill one hero right at the start of the fight, which I have the ability to do, despite my burst damage being very low, it's not like I have a Finger of Death or anything, I just have a stun, and I have minus 20 armor, and I'm just going to jump on one guy, and I'm going to kill him as fast as I can. And hopefully it's going to be a Lion, or a Prophet, or an Invoker. Easiest kill is going to be Lion. The most important kill would be Invoker. Again, I'm going to use Sprint here to gank. Got to get here fast. I really didn't want to use my BKB here. I knew there was a chance I'd have to. Luckily for me, he wasted one of his stuns. Because he hexed and then he stunned immediately because he panicked. So that was a mistake by him. And now I can leave the lane. I don't know why that hit me. I was really confused. So now I'm juking because I'm scared about getting killed. But yeah, it hit me for some reason. I wasn't sure why. And then we saw an Invoker mid. I was thinking about going in on him. With the Clockwork on top of me, I have to BKB. Stops the meteor from doing much damage either. Again, the amp damage really helps out. So, and that's exactly why you get a BKB. If I didn't have a BKB there, I very likely would have died, guaranteed. I had about 600 HP. I was battery salted in with a Clockwork. I also stunned through his Blade Mail, which didn't matter because I'm magic immune, so Blade Mail damage does nothing to me. And I got meteored on top of that. So if I didn't have a BKB, 100% dead right there. You have to have the magic immunity when you're playing this like super aggressive Slardar style, or it's not going to end well for you. So we're going to kill Roshan. I decided to go for an AC next. Because AC is good on Slar. The extra attack speed really helps out too. I was planning to take the Aegis, so just making a little bit of space here.
Roshan has fallen to the Radiant.
And I asked Aosin what he thought about my item progression here, because I wasn't completely sure. My first problem was that it's a PA, so PA has a ton of evasion, and I am kind of a right-click hero, so I need some evasion. By the way, I think I saw a hero go up here. I kind of blind blinked on that one, and luckily for me, the clock missed. But
You never felt more shit, did you?
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I don't know why I felt like going for that kill, but I just felt I was like, I can make a kill. I don't know. I read it. I can't explain it. I think I saw a hero or something, or I think I saw a line go that way, and I figured that he was farming, so I was like, okay, I bet line's gonna be here, so I'm just gonna blink on top of it, and if he's here, then I'll kill him. And that's exactly what happened. Luckily, the Clockwork missed his hook. Even if he didn't, though, I would have had BKB and Aegis, so I wasn't that worried. But and as you guys can see, I can cleave through illusions really fast, or not illusions, creeps really fast, and I knew the creep was spawning, so I needed to blink away, and then again, I'll kill the big one. So just farming occasionally on a hero like Slardar is pretty useful. Oh yeah, so I asked Aosin about item build. Against a PA, if I'm playing any kind of carry hero, I really like getting a fast MKB because it completely counters 4 of his skill points. And more than that, like 40% evasion is really, really strong. It makes it difficult to kill him and predict if you have enough burst damage to kill somebody, which is a huge deal. In a team fight, you have very limited amounts of times to make decisions on any kill. And if you miss the kill, or if you underestimate how much damage you have, or if you miss too many times and he's able to wand and get away, it's a huge loss to your team fight. Because you need to like use every bit of time that you use is really important. You need to like kill some guy in 4 seconds and then jump on the next guy. Because as soon as you run out of time, your BKB's gone and you're likely to die. So like breaking the evasion is usually a huge deal against a hero like PA. So I wanted to possibly get an MKB really fast to counter that. But the problem is that if I get an MKB, then I won't have an AC. And Aosin's reasoning was that the PA is really far behind in items. He's only got a blade or a Battle Fury, I think. Let's see. Yep, he's got a Battle Fury of Vlad's, and he's working on a BKB, which he almost has. So if I just get an AC really fast, it's going to be okay. If if PA was really far ahead and we had very little ways to deal with him, then it would be okay to get. But we saw these two guys coming over here, so I decided to come up last second. I tried to blink, I think, and then I kind of messed it up. Alright, now I'm going to BKB. It's a refresher ulti. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get amp damage off on him. It's too bad I went for the invoker. We could have killed the PA. That fight could have been better. Mistakes I made, which looking at the replay, it actually wouldn't have been better, but I knew they were coming that way, number one. I probably should have gone to the high ground of the stairs just to see exactly when they were coming in, or I should have just predicted it. Because I knew they were likely coming that way, but I was a little unsure on vision. So I could, if I just would have blinked and stunned 2 heroes and BKB'd to start the fight instead of the way that it started, the fight could have been way better. But even still, our farm is high enough where the fight starting like that, which is less than ideal, still went really good. I figured I'd surge this because I've got Aegis even if I die. And my initiation didn't really work out, so no big loss. He looks really dead. There's no way we can save the Caudle, so we told everybody to ditch here. Alright, so anyways, yeah, the PA doesn't have that many items, so me just grabbing an AC is going to be fine. It covers a lot of different points as well. It makes me very survivable against the PA because it gives me 15 armor. It gives my entire team 20 attack speed, and it also gives my entire team 5 armor. Entire team saying, like, if they're in my general vicinity, of course. Obviously not global. But the AC is really good for that. It also gives me -5 armor on opponents as well, which means that now I'm going to do even more right-click damage. At this point, I decided that a TP scroll is more important than a wand, but I can go even more ham now, because all of a sudden I'm at 28 armor. This is where things get pretty useful, this hero. I mean, look at my damage. I get 4 attacks in before he can even get unstunned. And when you get a Blink Dagger in this kind of advantage, it just helps so much. So instead of going for like really typical damage items, you kind of just get a lot of utility on this hero. Utility and tank. And that ends up working out fine, because you get all your damage from your ulti, basically. Your ulti turns you into 300 damage per hit hero, or 250 damage per hit hero, which is basically what's happening. So I'm doing -25 armor to my opponents, for God's sake. It is so much. Again, I have an Aegis, so I can play really aggressive. I should have BKB'd there, but I did not. And now since I'm so far ahead, I figured there was a good shot that I could just man-fight him. Worked out. Fortunately, I missed my stun, just barely. Wasn't quite ready to lose my BKB. Or my Aegis, that is. Didn't see the cogs, so I died there.
Dire's middle barracks are under attack. Radiant's top tower is
Didn't miss that one.
Dire's middle barracks are under attack.
So this is basically what you should be seeing as a Slardar carry. It's like, it's not a very typical carry, but it's a lot about decision making and stunning and trying to burst stun heroes in a short amount of time. And even though I just finished my AC, I now have a ton more farm. There's 5 dead heroes. I can push upper towers like this very simply because I have so much armor, and because I have -5 armor on my opponents and buildings and stuff.
Dire's top barracks are under attack.
It also helps that our team had a ton of team fight. We had Warlock ultis, and he got a lot of farms, so he was able to get a refresher and an egg. And we also had Tidehunter, which the Ravage helped out as well. I was a little upset that he TP'd me here, because he didn't ask. He was just like, oh, I'm going to TP Slardar bot so he can farm more. And I was like, what if I want to farm their jungle or something, you know? So at this point, now that I have my AC, the next item is definitely going to be an MKB. It's definitely the correct choice. So I'll pick up my Demon Edge here. Just queuing up the MKB. There it is. Only need about 650 to finish that now. Again, I'll just use a little bit of sprint to go from camp to camp. This does increase the damage I take, but I'm not too concerned about it. I'm also level 25, which is nice. Let's see what my EXP per minute is. 856. That's very high. That's very high. My GPM isn't amazing, but considering the scope of the game, I think it's been just fine.
Look there.
Force staff was nice. I'm gonna have to BKB this. I BKB'd a little late. Ooh, he barely survived. That was a good escape from him. I kind of felt like I'd have to leave here, so I was just gonna TP back. So now is when I want the recall. Yeah, if I would have popped the BKB just a second earlier, I might have taken a lot less damage. Maybe it was like a PA crit or something, I don't know. But I had like 3/4 of my HP, and then I lost a chunk, and I went down to about half. And if I would have BKB'd a bit before that, maybe it would have gone better.
Thank you.
I also got my MKB from this. Fun to hero, guys.
Wicked sick. I feed you to my fiends.
It's like my stun, guys. That's really good.
Smoked.
So next item after this is usually a Helmet the Dominator into a Satanic. Something like that is actually really good. In a really late game scenario for Slardar, he becomes extremely tanky based on his strength growth, which is good, 2.8. You also end up buying a lot of strength items, Black King Bar, Power Treads, things like that. So if you get a Satanic afterwards, it also pushes your armor into a ridiculous area. Because I think Satanic gives... I don't know if it's just 5. I think it gives at least 5. I think it gives 5 armor. It gives you 45 damage because you'll have... I maybe should have BKB'd that. Not sure. 5 armor, it gives you 45 damage, which is really, really good. Gives you a bunch of strength as well. Should have BKB'd there. Man, that was pretty epic. That last fight wasn't me. Before I blinked in there, though, I really should have BKB'd. Even before stunning. I was way too greedy on that. I should have BKB'd before I blinked, and then I should have also maybe even BKB'd before I stunned. So the Lion was able to hex me because of his reaction times, and that prevented me from going crazy. But luckily, my allies were there to cover me in that fight, and we ended up winning it anyways, so worked out okay.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's middle tower has fallen. Dire's top barracks has fallen.
I didn't quite want to dive that, and it's all going to work out okay.
Dire's ancient is under attack. Radiant victory.
So, yeah, I think this is the best way to play Slardar. Treads Blink with a wand. Wand gives you enough mana. You got to get a BKB afterwards in almost all situations, and then from there you can grab items based on what heroes you're against. I think AC is usually going to be the right choice, but situationally you could get different items. Maybe if I was against a PL, I would do something like a Battle Fury, or maybe even like a Radiance for a damage item instead of the AC. Something like that is possible, but as a whole, I think I made the right choices. Definitely in this game, I made the right choices. I made some small gameplay errors, but nothing was really major. And you should definitely try to snowball when you're playing this hero, because it will allow you to just kind of crush the mid game with BKBs and things like that. So I think that's it for the Slardar game. Thanks everyone for watching. I've got some cool stuff coming up this week. I have Scrimming with the Team, which we haven't played much in last week, which is I'm excited to play again. On Thursday, I'm going to be on the Yogscast live stream. They're gonna do a Dota 2 segment, I think, with Parv. I don't know if the main Yogscast guys, Simon and Lewis, are gonna participate in that one, but I know for sure that I'll be playing Dota with Parv, who's a Yogscast guy, and Pier and Flex as well. So should be lots of fun there. You guys can tune into that on the Yogscast live stream, I believe. I think it's twitch.tv/Yogscast. It's going live on Thursday. I'll tweet and Facebook about it when we go live, I'm sure. So if you guys follow me on either social media and you happen to be awake during that time, you'll be fine. The time, I believe, is going to be, I think it's like noon. No, it's like 7:30 p.m. GMT or 7 p.m. GMT. So that's like what, 19 GMT. So that's basically like 7. Yeah, so that's like, it's like 10 a.m. for me Pacific time, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, because it's 1 hour before CET, and that's 9, so it's 8-hour difference. I think it's, maybe it starts at 6 p.m. GMT. I can't remember, but it starts in the morning for me, like 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Pacific time, and it's on Thursday, and I don't know how long it's going to go, but it should be fun. We'll probably just play Dota games and talk about Dota and dick around and stuff. I don't know how many Yogscast people are involved, but I'll be on the stream, so it should be fun. Okay, I think that's it. I'll see you guys later, and yeah, alright, bye.